We've all had about a week for the dust to settle on this right now, so I think now is a pretty darn good time for me to finally do the post-mortem from WWE Battleground 2015 that was in St. Louis, Missouri on the 19th of this month. And we're going to start with the pre-show. R-Truth versus King Barrett is the match. Why? Just why? And R-Truth coming out there with a scepter that's a plunger, and a crown that's made of cardboard and foil. Why? King Barrett won, but I don't care. Social Media Lounge had Paul Heyman being interviewed by Tom Phillips, and oh god, Paul Heyman just let Tom Phillips have it. Tom Phillips would ask a question, Paul Heyman would give the static response. And Tom Phillips at one point said, "Yeah, I should have figured." To which Paul Heyman was like, "Yes, you should have figured, so why did you even ask that question?" And then after the second question, he's like, "Oh, did you figure that one too?" A little personality there for Tom Phillips, though, so let's have more of that. I agree with Noah Antweiler on this. Let's have more of snarky Tom Phillips. But enough of that shit. Main show! Curtain jerker match. Sheamus versus Randy Orton. Because when you have someone who's recently won the Money in the Bank ladder match, you want to make him look like shit. When Randy Orton's the more appealing guy in a feud, you know something's gone sideways. You know you done fucked up. And of course, it being St. Louis, Missouri, you know, Randy Orton's hometown, they were hot as hell for him. And of course, he won with an RKO out of nowhere. And of course, here we go again. Money in the Bank guy losing matches. Anyway, immediately right after that, they have a backstage interview with JoJo and Stephanie McMahon. And Stephanie McMahon on the past episode of Raw had introduced a quote-unquote revolution in the Divas division by bringing in Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch from NXT to create a 9-diva, 3-faction battle, which I'll talk about more in the sports section. But the thing that struck me the most out of this segment is that either JoJo is incredibly short or Stephanie McMahon is really freaking tall. And they even made jokes about that. Stephanie McMahon's like, "Well, I feel like the Big Show here." But the crux of it is that there was going to be a triple threat later in the night with one from each of the 3 teams, which I've basically labeled as the face team, led by Paige, the tweener team, ostensibly led by Sasha Banks, and the heel team, of course, led by Nikki Bella. After that, the Tag Team Championship match, Primetime Players versus The New Day. And ironically, The New Day was giving off a lot of cheese, considering it was National Ice Cream Day. Some good spots here during this match. A lot of them involving the apron. At one point, Big E did a ground splash on Darren Young while on the apron, and then a little bit later, Darren Young returned the favor to Xavier Woods by doing an apron atomic drop on him. Ultimately, though, Darren Young hit the gut check on Kofi Kingston, Big E got the Clash of the Titus, and boom goes to Dynamite. Still your tag team champions, the Primetime Players. Alright, next match in the night is Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns, and I figured out something. Bray Wyatt is an audience analog in this match, because the whole time during this feud, the running words against Roman Reigns have been anyone but you, which kind of reflects the sentiment that the fans have had ever since his push at the Royal Rumble to the main event title picture. Of course, since Bray Wyatt is supposed to be the heel in this feud, tells you a lot about what the WWE creative team thinks about fan opinions, doesn't it? There were, unsurprisingly, quite a bit of cheers and chants for Bray Wyatt. And it wasn't that bad of a match. It definitely served its purpose. But in the end, a hooded assailant assaulted Roman Reigns. I thought it might have been a heel turn for Dean Ambrose, but then he pulled down the hood, and it's Luke Harper. So yeah, Wyatt family's back together, I guess. Anyway, Sister Abigail, and there's the win. Up next was the aforementioned Divas Triple Threat, representing the tweener team, for lack of a better phrase, also known as Team BAD, Beautiful and Dangerous, Sasha Banks, representing the team that I affectionately refer to as the Steampunk Banshee Queens, Charlotte Flair, and representing the Bellas was going to be Nikki, but she chickened out and sent her sister Brie in instead. So, two of the teams sent out the best wrestler on their team. And then there was Brie. One of these ladies is not like the others. One of these ladies doesn't belong. This match really ended up being a good case study in the difference between Divas Wrestling on the main shows of the WWE and Divas Wrestling on NXT. Because Sasha and Charlotte pretty much picked up from their title bout on the episode of NXT just before this pay-per-view. Also, fun fact, some of you may not necessarily know this, Charlotte actually has a gymnastics background, and that actually plays a large role in some of her moveset. Really. Great spot near the end of the match, though. Probably the first time that I can remember this happening on a Divas match like this. You have Brie Bella being dumped to the outside. And over comes Paige and Becky Lynch to kind of snipe at Alicia Fox and Nikki and kind of make sure that they're not interfering. And then in the ring, over comes Sasha Banks with a suicide dive to take them all out. So then Tamina and Naomi come around. And then Charlotte pulls herself over for a springboard body splash all over everyone else. So we had a 9 diva pile up in the end there. Really cool looking. Ultimately, the end came when Charlotte was able to get Brie into the figure 8 leg lock. Brie taps. Ostensibly, the revolution begins. Alright, second to last match of the night. Yes, there was supposed to be an Intercontinental Championship match, but, well, we'll get into that. United States Championship match of John Cena versus Owens. It's kind of weird how after years of languishing and embarrassment, that from about the latter half of 2014 through this year, the United States title has become more prestigious than probably it has ever been. And as much as I hate to admit it, a lot of that is on John Cena's promo work. Yes, I am still tired of him playing the same character, saying the same shit over and over and over again, but he has done a lot to sell the United States title as a title that people want to go for. There were a lot of really, really interesting spots in this match. Of course, yet again, both Cena and Owens stepped up to their A game. So, pretty bloody good match. We had a sick-looking spiking DDT at one point that Owens did to Cena. Cena tried to do a superplex at one point that got reversed into a top rope brain buster, and as soon as that hit, I was like, oh my god! Whew. And then even further on, another spot that just made me almost wince at seeing it was Owens did a fisherman brain buster. He hooked around the leg and scooped Cena up and then dropped him down in a brain buster. And, oh god, it looked so brutal. Almost got a pinfall too. It's a really interesting move there. I don't expect him to pull it out that often, but it looked like it would really hurt. Cena later on got a near fall with an attitude adjustment from the top rope. So basically a super attitude adjustment. This after earlier in the match that Kevin Owens had done what I'm calling Kevin Owens' version of the Attitude Adjustment, the bad attitude. Just because, he did the bad attitude, and then he went into the STF, furthering his usual Cena trolling, but it got a rope break. However, this match ended with Kevin Owens tapping out in the middle of the ring. Okay, let me get this straight, WWE. You go through all this trouble. You debut Kevin Owens on Raw, have him completely demolish John Cena. You take him into a match with John Cena at Elimination Chamber. Have him win cleanly. Then you have the rematch on Money in the Bank. Another great classic match. And okay, yeah, I can understand John Cena winning there. Okay, I get it. But then you go to Japan, where Kevin Owens defends his NXT Championship against Finn Balor, and Finn Balor wins. Meaning, Kevin Owens no longer has a title. So now when Kevin Owens comes against John Cena, he's coming because he wants the title, because he lost the NXT Championship, and he wants a prize and the money for his family. And you decide that the best way to end this feud in the rubber match at Battleground is Lol Cena wins. This is why people have lost faith in the main WWE. This is why people much prefer NXT or Ring of Honor or Lucha Underground to the main product of the WWE. This is why your ratings are declining, Vince. You say you want the young people to grab the brass ring. You say you want these people to take the opportunities that are given to them, and then you book them to ultimately lose in a feud against the guy who is selling the most merchandise on your website because you're afraid that if you actually do something interesting with his character, that you might lose those vaunted merchandise sales, that you might lose the little kids that he appeals to. Instead of giving the kids new heroes to root for, you are so tied to this one man for some insane reason that you will sabotage yourself and your company's future to make sure he's still making money in the present. How is this promotion still number one in the world? How have they not come crashing down to earth by now? Board of directors of the WWE, please force Vince out of control. I know he's not going to willingly give it up himself, but please, force him out and give control to Triple H and Stephanie because, and I, like most marks, cannot believe I am saying this, I honestly believe WWE would be better off in their hands. Look at what they're doing with NXT, compare it to what they're doing with the main WWE product, and tell me I'm wrong. You can't. Get your heads out of your asses and treat these young people like the stars that you want them to be. Because if you don't sell to the fans that they are worth being there, if you don't sell to the fans that they are the people who are going to carry WWE forward into the future, into the 2020s and beyond, they're not going to believe it. No matter how much they want to, no matter how much they love Kevin Owens, no matter how much they love Sami Zayn, no matter how much they love Adrian Neville, Samoa Joe, you've got Jushin Thunder Liger coming now. No matter how much people love these characters, Finn Balor, Hideo Itami, no matter how much people love them, if you don't act like they are the future that you believe them to be, they're not going to be able to draw a dime, and it's not going to be their fault. It's going to be yours. Because you will have burnt out your fans on these characters before they even had a chance to get in the gate. Anyway, as I mentioned, there was no Intercontinental Championship match between The Miz, Big Show, and the champion Ryback. because Ryback was out with a staph infection, which in his initial tweet, as they showed on the show, he accidentally spelled S-T-A-F-F. Of course, he later made a joke about him being a meathead and corrected his spelling once the grammar Nazis got after him, but that's neither here nor there. So Miz comes out to, complain, and I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I like Miz as a heel. He's great on the microphone. He is pretty bloody good on the microphone. Ring skills still not all that great, but he's come a long way from when he was stumbling over words as the host of the Divas Search. But he's out there complaining and did a really sick burn on the Big Show when he said that the Big Show had been missing since the Attitude Era as far as he was concerned, and the entire audience went, ooh. But the Big Show, of course, not amused, comes out, punches him right in the face, knocks him out, walks off, no fucks given. So, I thought they would have had, a number one contendership match maybe on the show, but no! They saved that for Raw the next night. Because why would you have a match like that on pay-per-view or on the WWE Network when you can just give it away for free? Alright, last match of the night. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. Seth Rollins, the champion, versus Brock Lesnar. Suplex City coming to St. Louis. And of course, pretty much the story of this match was nowhere to run to, Sethy, nowhere to hide. And 13 suplexes later, Brock Lesnar hits an F5, goes for the pinfall, and out go the lights. Bong. In the words of Spoonie, The Undertaker's massive dong, The Undertaker is back, and he's attacking Brock Lesnar with a kick to the jubblies. To paraphrase Captain Kirk from Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, what does God need with a nut shot? Now seriously, why is The Undertaker shooting somebody in the balls? Why does The Undertaker have to do that? I realize it's the Beast incarnate, but come on, man. I mean, it doesn't really make the dead man look all that great if he's gotta whack somebody in the jubblies to get an advantage. If he's gotta, knee him down south. But yeah, that's the finish to your match. It's a no contest. Why? Because Undertaker. So once again, we have Seth Rollins getting away with his championship on a technicality. And people wonder why we don't take him seriously as WWE Heavyweight Champion. So anyway, final rating for this show. I'm actually being very charitable to this show. It was not a terrible show. A lot of the matches were pretty good. So I'm giving it 3 stars. I took off points because of the questionable endings to some of these matches. It wasn't horrible, but it's not the best show that they could have put on. Not by any stretch of the imagination. And in some cases, it really just served to highlight the biggest problems that WWE is having right now. But, we're trucking on forward to SummerSlam. It's possible they could, rectify some of these problems by SummerSlam, but I highly doubt it, because I am just that goddamn jaded and cynical now. Thank you, Vince McMahon. Thank you for making me even more of a cynical, snarky bastard than I already was. Coming up next, final segment of the show, sports, more WWE talk, and also, I have finally watched Lucha Underground, and I'm going to tell you what I think about it. See you then. Like what you're hearing? Well, feel free to subscribe to us and get new videos as they're released. And be sure to like and share this video, and go over to facebook.com/casualmodepodcast and give us a like. Thanks.